What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of having a gentleman who's competed in some of the most elite organizations in MMA: Bellator, Strikeforce, World Series of Fight. You name him, he's been there. He is the one and only El Terrible Estevan Payan. What's up, my man?
Nothing much. Just well, I could give you the rundown about like the interview, but I forget. I get caught up in my day, and I guess
No, dude,
then
no
I
worries.
don't forget.
We're just glad to have you on because I was hearing from the Gym Crashers guys, Dondo and Robert Simerson. They're like, he's funny AF. You got to have him on. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say and do what I feel.
That's great though. That's exactly why we do this fucking thing, man. So obviously, let me go back to the beginning, right? So how does a young Estevan Payan enter into the wild world of combat sports?
Oh, fuck. When I was like a teenager, I used to get in fights all the time, and people were like, "Why don't you fight?" Like, cause like, and that's the same thing too. I never gangbanged or anything. I just people had a problem with me, and I thought you fought. I solved it. I mean, I didn't believe in like gang banging and all that. Like, if you had a problem, we fought and we settled our differences and then shook hands afterwards. And then I guess people were just like, "Dude, why don't you try fighting?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try it." And when I was in the military, that's when I decided to start competing. I went to a jiu-jitsu class, then I went to boxing, and then some kid showed up. He's like, "Hey, I go to this boxing gym." I was like, oh, "Okay." And then I went to the boxing gym. When I went to the boxing gym, shit, I showed up Monday and I fought that Friday.
Whoa! Like not even skipping a beat. You're like, let me just fucking do it.
Yeah, I just let's try it. I said, learn, try trial and error. That's all you have.
No, absolutely. And Jerry Fuller of the Fuller Broadcasting, he says, I remember this guy. Interviewed him at his gym last year. So shout out to Jerry Fuller, Jeffrey Fuller. I'm sorry, why did I say Jerry? Jeffrey, from Fuller Broadcasting. But yeah, dude. So where was that first fight, and what was different about it? Like first, I mean, obviously trained for literally a couple days, right? You trained, you took this fight. What did you learn about yourself and the experience that you didn't know before?
You didn't really learn a lot because, like I said, I was fresh. Like I guess the main thing was like, it was an amateur fight, but then I skipped right through a lot of things because I never really learned because I was always just I would be stateside, then I deploy. Like I never really had an amateur career. I just taking fights.
Wow, that's incredible because I mean, I remember the first time that I even went to jujitsu in Bakersfield and had a trial class. Man, I think I must have puked and pissed myself like three times before I even stepped on the mat, let alone like thinking about even taking a fight. And you did it, and again, you fought in some of the biggest organizations in the world. You were a part and got a win on the very first Bellator 1. So like, being able to figure it out, that is something that you've done throughout your career, and that's something that you definitely do well.
So the one thing I'll tell you about that win over in Bellator, it was against Luis Palomino, who's now the BKFC. They want to say the champion or whatever. I'm like, dude, how are you the champion? You beat a guy who isn't even known for stand up. And as I told him, like, I'd be more than happy to whoop his ass for you guys. And I trust me, I would take that belt from him because just like in MMA, he tried to run at me all crazy and come swinging at me like he did with Valley Flag, and I put him on his ass quick. And after that, he just was being precautious the whole time after I got dropped. To me, like Palomino, he's just a bully. Like, and I said that's how I beat him in the first belt when I was just some guy who'd been fighting for like a year. I think I just started fighting, and I was brought in as sacrificial lamb, and they found out this lamb is going to be sacrificed tonight.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because obviously, you know, Luis is the bare knuckle champion, right? You have competed in bare knuckle as well. Is that something that you kind of want to kind of test out?
I already told him I would fight him, but they're like, "Oh, well, you don't, you're not as popular as Palomino." I'm like, dude, who the fuck is Palomino? Like, no one really knows him. His only fights are what, because he fought Justin Gaethje in World Series of Fighting, which obviously wasn't that big of a deal because World Series of Fighting went out of business. You know what I mean? I said,
Yes.
like, I wrote Palomino easy. Palomino, like, dude, he beat Valley Flight. What is Valley Flight known for? He ain't known for his striking. And then he beat some guy before that by a decision. Like, who was that guy? Then I thought, make the fight.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you tell no lies. You tell no lies at all. You know. And Jeffrey Fuller says, "What's up, man?" Shout out to Estevan, right? And Jesse Velasquez. He said, "Yep, Estevan's an OG. That's a damn good fight, you and Palomino." So,
Oh, his ass. I would whoop him bad. Like, fuck, he blocked me on something because I talked shit to him before too because he's like, oh, that was back in the day. Like, and then he uses some excuse of, oh, well, my kid was, they were holding my kid against me. And it's like, well, why wouldn't you want to train hard so you can get custody because you have money and show that you can have them? Like I said, it's always excuses. It's just an excuse, like, of why he lost. I'm like, he's like, oh, you poked my eye. I'm like, I think I accidentally poked his eye like once. But I said I dropped you before I accidentally poked your eye.
yeah, again, yeah, I'm not at all arguing with you at all because I mean, your reputation precedes itself, good sir. You know, and I love it because you know you're not even 40 yet. You're a tenured young vet. Everywhere and anywhere, you've been there. You've been there, and you've done your thing. You've basically been a trailblazer wherever you've gone, right? So I I want to go back. Like, what are some of you as a fighter, you as a person, some of your most memorable, whether it be fights or moments in combat sports?
I guess like the biggest one, like, and everyone always laughs about the story, is when I fought for Strike Force. So it was like fuck, like, I think it was like January, like the beginning of January. So literally the weekend just passed by, and I was literally like on a 4 day coke binge. I was just wasted, like, and then I'm recovering. I buy me a smoothie, some donuts, a bagel. Like, I'm ready to just eat this and go into a coma. And then I get a call like, "Hey, you want to fight for Strike Force?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I want to fight for Strike Force." And I was like, "When is it?" They're like, "This Friday." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, I just got done partying all weekend. Come on, it was just fucking New Year's weekend. I got wasted." And now on top of that, not only was like I had all that shit, but I'm like 186 pounds. So not only do I've been on fucking doing coke and drinking for 3 days, but I've got to lose 26 pounds. Yeah, fucking that's one of my biggest. And then, but like I said, I did it all. And then, well, they didn't work with me though because the fight was supposed to be at 155, but since it was short notice, they gave me the extra 5 pounds, so I only had to do 160 instead of 155. Which, like I said, it's still 26 pounds. And I cut that like in a few days, and yeah, then I whooped the shit out of fucking Alonzo Martinez.
Yeah, no, damn right you did, and it's. I mean, obviously, we know the result of it, but especially the story behind it, and to know that you yourself could put yourself in that position, no matter what like physical state you were in or whatever. You're like, fuck it, chale, let's go. Like,
I, I tell everybody though, it's like a thing like people think, oh, drug addict. I'm like, drug addict. That's 2 words. I'm like, the main word is addict. You can be addicted to anything. And then that's like it's hard. Like, everyone has this thing like, oh well, if you do drugs, you're gonna be a fuck up. I'm like, no, that's your choice. I'm like I told you, people used to trip out. Like I used to go party on the weekends, and then I would just go to work like the next day. Like, how the hell do you do that? I'm like, well, because I understand it. It's not. I don't let it control me. The drug doesn't do me. I would do the drug. You know what I mean? But too many people they believe all the bullshit that they're told. Like, oh well, if you do this, you're gonna be a fuck up. You're a screw up. Like, no, it's all a choice. Like fucking when I used to sell coke, I remember I used to sell to like fucking doctors, like dentists, teachers, and they used to trip out like, dude, you're a fighter. How are you doing this? And I'm like, dude, you're a fucking teacher. You're a principal. You're a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, you've got jobs where, like, other people, like, yeah, I'm a fighter. If I get hurt, that's on me. But you're doing something where, but same thing. They never had anything. They were just, they did their jobs and went about their days. But as I said, because they didn't believe in the bullshit. Like, oh, well, you're going to be a fuck up the rest of your life if you do this. Like, no, people experiment.
No, 100%. You know, and it's again, it's the choices that you make, right? Obviously, it's not looked at as an addiction, but like if you damn go to Burger King every day and order the same triple cheeseburger, don't work out or whatever, that's a bit of an addiction that nobody talks about.
Well, yeah, fuck. It destroys your health. That's why everyone talks about drugs. Drugs destroy your health. Smoking, it destroys your health. Like there's so many things that destroy, but we fall into what media tells. Oh well, this is bad. This is like with this whole pandemic, this fucking coronavirus. I'm not a big guy. I'm like, dude, this is all bullshit. I'm like like I said, fuck, smoking kills people. Why the fuck have we not banned cigarettes? Other people get they suffer from secondhand smoke. You know what I mean? But we don't ban smoking. Like, but this what who pays for it?
No, 100%. You know, and it's money talks, bullshit walks, I guess, right?
All it comes down to. It's all I guess that's all that matters at the end.
Damn right. Now, obviously, you're at the gym, right? What I mean, what gym are you at, and how did you make the choice to start training where you're at and being a team with those guys over there?
Uh well, I kind of decided my gym. I got my own little gym I opened up in. I said I just train people. Like I've got 73-year-olds, like 60-year-olds, like well, I have a 73-year-old man who's lost over 20 pounds since he started training with me last summer. So he's like, and sorry, it's not the thing where like MMA fighters how we or just fighters in general how we drop all that crazy weight and then we put it back on. Like no, he's continue to drop and drop and drop. So there's a lot of people. Like I said I have more like I'm more of a fitness gym, you know. But same thing, I train people with fighting, but things I've gained over the years, knowledge I've gained, and that's the main thing I say. Like knowledge I've gained from my experiences. Like the best way I think I could explain it is what I'm trying to say is think about like Johnny Hendricks. Think about fighters that they rose really fast and then they fell. What will they rise because they are able to do something? They are skilled. But everyone always questions, oh well, they got old or some shit. They make some bullshit excuse. But they never look at the fact of look at the trainers who taught them, who now they are being taught how to fight in their little matrix and do what they do. And but they get worse. But no, it's not because of what they're being taught, it's because they're getting old. It's the same thing like now, like I've had people ask me what am I taking because my body has changed. Like I'm starting to put a lot of muscle on again. And I tell them I'm not taking shit. I stopped feeding into people's bullshit, people's lies. Like I tell her, I'm like, oh well, it's just from all the training I do. That's why my body is so fucked up. It's like when you work out, like I tell her, the body's a self healing organism. So when you're working out, your body should be getting stronger. Yeah, getting hit in the head that sucks, but it's even with getting hit in the head. When you get hit in the head, it's not so much your brain up here. It's your brain stem. That's what knocks you out. That's what hurts you. That's what causes the damage. Your brain stem it controls so much more. Not your brain, fuck. Like or even people like oh the chin. Like he doesn't have a chin. The jaw is the hardest bone in the body. Right now, as we're talking, we're training our jaws. When we eat, we're working our jaws. Like it's just the myth of that people believe and promote. That's what fucks everything up more and more and more.
No, 100%, 100%. And that's why it's, I mean, absolutely vital where you have, you know, fighters and people of your perspective that have been to, you know, the pinnacles of where the sport is to kind of lead the next generation of fighters to where they need to be, and I kind of want to get into like what was the need, in your area to start your own gym? Like when did that thought happen, and when did you put it into fruition?
Well, I was renting a space from my buddy. I was training out of his gym, but then he got this one fucking dork to buy the gym. So I was still renting it. And then the guy, he was a fucking idiot. He did some shit called Maestro Self Defense or some shit, where it's all just like sound effects. Like it was just retarded. Like, and then he brought some other dork and like they were like talking about how MMA didn't work and like trying to coach over me because I had my own little class where I teach people and they're teaching their little class. And then he was saying something stupid. And then finally I just went over there and I told him like, dude, that's bullshit. And I just started showing him stupid things. Like, and the guy was flustered. He didn't even know how to react when I was just saying, show him a punch. You know what I mean? Just was shocked. And it's like, dude, you don't know shit. You've never been in a fight. You're panicking. You're going into panic mode. You know what I mean? And then the guy who bought the gym, he got mad at me. He's like, you got to move out of here. Like, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and then so I opened my own gym. Me and my girlfriend, we open our own spot. She has her business and I have mine.
And that's pretty cool. That, I mean, regardless of all that, crazy stuff that went on, like it actually ended up being one of the better parts of your, not just career, but your lifestyle, because you have, you're running a business with your significant other where you guys can both not just better each other, but also, better your community at large.
Oh yeah, that's the main thing I said. I work with kids. Like one of the kids I work with is my buddy Nazir. He was 15 or 16 when he came here, and the kid had really bad asthma and he had this fucked up arm. Like I always make fun of him because he broke his arm when he was a kid, and you always hear how they say it's bad to break your bone when you're a kid, and it's not. It's because think about it, you're learning to use your body. And then you never learn to fucking use it because now you got this broken bone that it doesn't even develop right. And he went through his whole life and the arm just stayed small because he never learned to use it. And everything was just disconnected. And then like I started reconnecting everything and like it started growing. His asthma, it went away like fucking a couple months back. I asked him, like, dude, how's your inhaler? How's it been? He's like, dude, I don't know where the fuck it is. Like, I'm like, oh shit, that's good. But I thought with his arm, like his little arm, I guess it kind of ruined his game. And I told him, I was like, hey, dude, when you start sending chicks dick pics, do it in the little arm. Don't use your other arm.
You know what? Some of the tricks of the trade, to make yourself a little bit bigger than what people perceive.
Oh yeah, I fuck with the kid. Like we always mess around. Like, and that's like one of the things I tell everybody. Even thinking with all this racism and everything. Like, I tell everybody, dude, like it would be me, him. He's a black kid. Fuck my son. He's Asian and Hispanic. We have a white kid. Like all these different races. And I tell everybody, it's never like, oh, you're disrespecting me. No, I tell everybody it's locker room talk. We're in a gym, we're talking shit, we're going back and forth, like all the kids, like they all try to gang up on me, and I just eat into them, and they're like, dude, how do you know how to talk so much shit? I'm like, dude, I was in the military. I'm a fighter. Like I deal with people online all the time trying to talk shit to me, and I just laugh about it. It's like it just like I said, they're trying to get on your nerves. I tell people laugh like, dude, what the fuck's your problem? Because like, if they say something funny, I just laugh about it, and they're like, dude, we're talking shit to you. I'm like, yeah, but it's still funny. Like they said, you're talking shit. I find humor in it. You get like I said, the whole sticks and stones may break my bones. Like, yeah, I understand that. Like, too many people they feed into it and let them the words hurt them.
No. Well, it's crazy because right now, if anything that the world could kind of benefit from, like our combat sports community, it doesn't matter how many, like it doesn't matter how you voted, Republican, Democrat, liberal, gay, straight, religious, non-religious, or whatever. You'll roll with them, spar with them, you know, doesn't matter, right? And it's like where the world comes together. But like everybody else who thinks that, it's just stupid fighters and blah blah blah, they're arguing on social media, and it's just like, for what?
Look, when you started out about the whole rolling with you, I'm like, I remember one time, and this is how media works. Like, I had a black friend that I used to train with, and one time my trainer was telling me to go go grapple with them, and I was like, no, I'm not grappling with them. But that I'm not saying it's just how people in general would use it. Oh, like, oh well, he's being racist because he was black. But then no one said anything about that. But I'm just using that as an example. But I had told my trainer, I'm like, dude, I can't roll with anybody. He's like, why not? I was like, dude, I kind of took Viagra this weekend. No, I took him Cialis. I took some Cialis this weekend. And he's like, what? He's like, so you're telling me if you roll with him, it's gonna make your dick hard? And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, my pant leg rubbing on my dick right now is making it hard.
Damn. Woo. Well, I mean that brings out a whole new meaning to like the phrase hard roll.
Oh yeah, dude, like, I told everybody it was like I remember one time I had this ex girlfriend, like I had just took some and then we had sex and then like I was still just hard, like I'm like banging, she's like locking herself in the bathroom door and I'll bang on the door, like she just telling me, she's like, dude, is that your dick? I just started laughing because that's they're like goo 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 goo.
It was like you're almost like a techno
Imagine that.
DJ with your member.
Which one?
It was like you were a techno DJ. Don't, don't.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, dude. You've literally. I mean, it's crazy because yeah, Jesse Velasquez says, yeah, that man is a savage. I mean, they broke the mold for good reason when they created Estevan Payan for sure. You earned the nickname of El Terrible for sure.
Oh yeah.
Now, what was it like your lifestyle? Was it a way of life? Like, what is El Terrible? Like, what made you of everything that you
It was
could have
a
picked?
name I got from an old gym I trained at. Like it's another one of those gyms. Like I just showed up to them like same thing. They're like, oh, I want to try out for your guys' pro fight team because like I didn't know shit about fighting at all back then. I said I was just like, you ever hear about those kids that oh, or they say like, oh, they talk shit about those street kids like, oh, they're from the hood, they think they can fight like, and I was that kid. I showed up to the gym, and I could beat everybody up, but I was like like you kind of get what I'm trying to say to like how everybody find like, oh, they think just because they fight in the streets that they can fight. Well, I was that kid that showed up to the gym and I could beat the shit out of everybody. But it's because it's hard because I liked fighting. Like I like fighting. Like I trained with remember fucking Jamie Varner?
Yeah,
Yeah, him. I used to train with him, and I used to buy. I made that guy cry. Like he would get mad. Like I remember he used to bitch at his trainers. Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it's just some kid from the street. Yeah, you better figure out another game plan for this fight because he's beating me up. Well, so what the fuck is this other guy gonna do? Like, and one time I told him, like, dude, you gotta remember, like, you didn't grow up. You weren't born in the WEC. You weren't the WEC champion. I'm that guy. Like, I still had that hunger, and it just like even with him, it goes to show you more and more like what happened with me, where I started following everything his trainers were teaching, and that's where I started getting old quick because I started doing their bad habits. And it's like I said again, it's like racism. Kids aren't born racist; they're taught. And the same thing with like I say with fucking with your training. You don't get old. The bullshit training you gets old. Like look even Greg Jackson. See how they're falling apart. All their fighters are leaving, but they had that one fighter who does good, and who is it? John Jones. But here's the one thing with John Jones. John Jones doesn't follow the rules, and obviously we all know that. So that's the thing. See, he's still gonna do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and that's a good thing about him. He doesn't let anyone break his mold. He keeps pure to himself. Like I respect the guy for that. Like everyone like, oh, he does drugs. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. That's his choice to do on his free time. Just be smart about it. Don't be fucking hitting people out driving. Like, stay home. But yeah,
no, I I don't think people kind of get that. And here's the dirty little secret: all of your favorite athletes, no
oh
matter
yeah,
what they compete, they shoot basketballs, they hit baseballs. Yeah, they're all on some sort of supplements, right?
Yeah, I don't take supplements. I don't like supplements. Like I tell everybody, the main thing with think about the word. What is it called? Supplements. You're
Right.
supplementing something like, especially fighters. Fighters, they probably need supplements more than anyone because a lot of them don't understand how nutrition actually works, and then they just start taking all this bullshit. And then sometimes supplements are bad because now you're supplementing stuff that you don't even understand what you're supplementing. You're just taking it because someone told you, "Oh yeah, bro, protein shakes." Like, think that's media. Everything you slam protein shake, bro. You take creatine, yeah, you're jacked. Like, well, no, like you don't need supplements if you're having a well balanced meal, a well balanced diet, nutritional value. Understanding if you understand nutritional value, you don't need supplements. But like I said, I think like sadly, like fighters, they need supplements more because when they're cutting weight, they've got to balance everything out without the extra calories. You know what I mean? Like it's so strict.
Which I gotta ask, like, what is the diet without revealing too much? Like, what is the not diet, but like the meal plan that El Terrible follows?
But people think like I said, I'm a genetic fucking specimen because like people see me eating pizza, they'll see me eat. I'm like, no, you dummies, I'm eating whole food. Like when people think what's the word I'm looking for? What do they call it? Or just like I said, just they're eating healthy. Like, well, to eat healthy, all you gotta do if you can't grow it or kill it, probably shouldn't be eating it. Otherwise, like I said, it's all chemical now. Like I try to eat like food. I literally that's like my girlfriend. She's good too. Like sometimes too. She's like the main thing too. Like when I'm lacking something, she can see it and she'll like make something like here you need this or and I'm not I don't even question it because she knows a lot about that too. And then same thing with her. Like whenever when she's working out, like she comes to me and asks me like, hey, well, what's wrong with my form? And I'm like, oh well, it's this and that. And I guess it comes down to it's a big part. It's having someone you can grow with. You know what I mean? Not someone that, all right, bro, let's go drinking. Come on, like I've had those relationships where I had I tell you girlfriends where it's like I told them like if I wasn't coked out and drunk like fuck we don't get along. And he said that's all we did. We are fucking drinking buddies.
No, and it's cool to have somebody in your corner like that. Somebody that helps
Oh well, yeah,
supplement.
she helped me with that, but we still go at it because she doesn't want me to fight. She's worried because I'm older, my health. I'm like, no, I'm like it's my life. I'm gonna live it. Like I tell you, like, I'm a firm believer, like with religion and all that. I don't believe in all that. Like, I believe you have this life to live. Like, you don't know what's at the end of this. Like, for all you know, you're dead and it's done. And now you've wasted your one life you had. So I tell you, I'm gonna enjoy my life. I'm gonna live it. I'm gonna live it. I'm not gonna just. All right, it's time to die. Fucking whatever fucking religion you follow is at the end, and the rainbow at the end of it, or the pot of gold at the rainbow. Like, you don't know if there's a pot of gold at the end. So make the most out of this life.
Damn right. I love that, and especially in times like these where everybody's kind of like in a precarious position. To live your life, regardless of what
Yep.
circumstances happen. You got to live your life, right? But I mean, there's a lot of people that have been with you, from almost the very beginning, or you might have picked up
Oh
fans
no,
during.
I've dropped a lot of people. Like I said, when I was in my rise, where I was just whooping ass, and taking names, like, oh, you're the man. But as soon as you fall out, everyone just they forget about you. And then I had a fallout with a trainer, and then I didn't like what the shit they were doing, and then like I could see more and more of what they were doing. Like here's the main thing with a lot, and I'll tell every fighter right now. The main thing with a lot of MMA trainers, like, oh yeah, well they had this wrestler and they made him a killer. Well, no, he was a fucking college wrestler, you idiot. You didn't teach him shit, but how to hold someone and pray to win. You know, the whole lay and pray. Like the main thing, here's my thing with like Khabib. Look at Khabib. Yes, he's 20 something and oh, but the main thing is, it's MMA, but here's the main thing of what it's called. It's called sports entertainment. If you don't entertain the people, guess what? You're gonna fucking lose in the long run. Because the minute you start losing, people are like, okay, they're gonna figure you out quick. Okay, this is what melts them. Like, but like with Khabib, I'll give Khabib that he's working on his striking a lot more now. But the main thing is he always relies on that fucking put the crowd to sleep and then say he won. Like I said, it's sports entertainment. You've got to entertain the crowd. Otherwise, like I said, there won't be no sport. Like think about the UFC when they sold it for $3 million, or no, it was like 2 million when they first sold it to when Dana White and the Fertitas bought it because it wasn't worth shit because of all these fucking wrestlers. Like sports entertainment. Wrestling was almost kicked out of the Olympics, which that was like the first sport in the Olympics. You know what I mean? Because it's boring. Like, you're not entertaining the people. And some people will be like, oh, well, there's high level wrestlers and this and that. Like, well, yeah, but those high levels are very far and few.
Yeah, no, I mean, you don't tell any lies. And again, one thing, as you can see, there's like the California state title behind me for MMA, and then a pro
I
wrestling
one of those
NWA.
years back.
Yeah,
I won the XF belt.
you do.
The California Extreme Fighting. I won their belt back in 2018.
Yeah. With George Basmagian and Jonathan King and Steve Bash and all them. Yeah, you're a former CXF champion. You've
Yeah.
been everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's fun. That's another one of those fights where, remember I told you the Strikeforce fight, I got called like on 4 or 5 days' notice. That fight I got called on like 2 days' notice to fight for the belt. And yeah, I won it.
Yeah, there you go, and that's synonymous with you. But for those who haven't already done so, um, where can they follow the sports entertainment lifestyle of one Estevan El Terrible Payan?
You can follow me on Instagram. I think it's Estevan El Terrible Payan. But it's fuck. I set up an account a long time ago, and I bet you that's where I get all my requests to that one. But I lost the password for it, so I don't have access to that one. But then I did a new one where he's got like some orange fucking fight shorts I have on. That's my Instagram, and then just Facebook on Estevan Payan.
Damn right, dude. Again, thank you for all the crazy fights, the crazy stories, the crazy memories. Thank you for taking time out of your day to fucking do this because this is awesome. This is awesome. But this has been According to Woods with Estevan E Terrible Payan, and we are out. Thank you guys, dude.